So this is what it looks like when you got to do things on a commercial scale, when you got to feed hundreds of people at the shelters. You know, there's a lot of people in unfortunate situations in the world. Best way to help them is to make sure everybody's getting fed first. So again, I cannot thank Sorrentino's enough for letting us use their kitchens on days when they're not prepping, because to do something like this on a kitchen stove is next to impossible. Come over here, I'll show you what we're doing. So in order to make enough pasta to feed 200-300 people at a time, you got to get a lot of sauce boiling. So we've got 7 or 8 kilograms of beef in here because we want to make sure the meals are really hearty. There's 10 liters of sauce total, all in there. Got to get these 2 big pots boiling. And if you've never done this before, we'll give you a little heads up. You need a little bit of salt in the water. Flavors the pasta up a bit. Hell, we'll throw some over here too. Not too much. And you got to have fresh basil. If you've ever been in an Italian kitchen, you need oregano and basil. That's all you need to know. Look at all this. And use it however you want. You really can't use too much. So I don't even worry about the stems because we're going to cook it up. It'll all soften out. Look at that. Just generous helpings everywhere. You know, because even though we're trying to do a mass batch, you still want to deliver a good product. It doesn't matter who's eating it. Everybody deserves to have a good, warm, quality meal. So it still takes 2.5 hours to get the sauce made out properly. Oregano, like I said, it's a little hard to get fresh oregano right now, but I like to put a little bit in. And really that's it for now. The only reason I put the little bit of salt in now is just to bring the flavor of the beef up so it's not plain. But you don't want to over salt or pepper it at this point because it does reduce and it'll get too strong. So this is just to give it an overall flavor, make the place smell nice. Got all the water boiling. We'll be back to this when it's all ready. So as you can see, we got a nice bolognese here. This will go well for the pastas. Nice hearty sauce. You know, it's coming to the end of October here. It's gotten a little cooler. It's nice to be able to feed people and make sure that they get a good meal out of this. And if there's leftovers, we'll always send them with a takeout container. So this is a 5 kilogram bag of penne. I'm gonna need to do 2 of these for everything that we need to make. This is why you got to start really early in the morning. You know, it's nice to think, you know, we're going to go do something nice. We'll whip some food together, some sandwiches. It looks easy, not that it's difficult, it's just very time consuming. It's not something you do in an hour. It's usually 5 hours worth of prep before we get somewhere where we can actually serve people food. Sorry, one of the chefs came in from behind and he was waving, so I rudely didn't wave back. I just gave him the Italian. No, it is what it is. So when you're mixing a lot of pasta like this, you got to stir it for at least 2-3 minutes to begin with. Otherwise, it's just going to stick to the bottom, burn, and then it ruins the whole batch. So you got to listen to me talk for a little more. It's not so bad. So like I said, in a pot this big, you'd probably want to put in quarter cup of salt, but this is a big pot. If you're doing it at home for a single servings for the family, you really don't need more than 2 tablespoons. People ask, you know, how much should I put in? Grandma used to say, this much. But, you know, 2 tablespoons, that works. A little more for this. All right, so that looks pretty good. I'm gonna let this sit. I'm gonna keep stirring this sauce so it doesn't stick. Oh, look at that. What a beautiful bolognese. It's so easy. When you don't rush, things always turn out well. It's when you try and rush and crank the heat, then things burn. Look at all that. The basil's incorporating nicely. I can't even explain how good it smells in here. It's amazing. There. So these have been going for, what, about an hour already, cameraman? Yeah. So got another half hour to 40 minutes. And they'll be ready to assemble everything. So I'm going to turn it down slightly and we'll get back to you. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes. They're starting to soften up, but it will take longer when you're doing volume like this. Might even have to add some water, to be honest. It's a lot of pasta. There you go. We only got a couple that stuck. That's a lot of pasta. I don't know, this isn't your regular home one. This is 3 of my hands wide. That's a lot of pasta. All right. She's got some weight. Olio olive. All right, and then we'll mix it around. All right, a little bit more. So a lot of people will, run it under cool water so it stops it stops cooking. But I actually take it out al dente, so it's still not, it's soft, but I wouldn't really, it's not quite ready to be eaten yet. I call this 80% because we're not serving it right now. It's going to go in steam trays, get covered up. It won't be eaten for another hour. So I'm going to add a little extra sauce, but I'm going to let it slowly cook right now in its own juices. We'll add sauce, cover it in tin foil, so when it's served in an hour from now, then it's fully expanded, it's at the perfect texture, all that good stuff. So I'll let this cool for a few minutes. So I guess I never really gave an explanation of why it's 2 pots. Yes, we're making a lot, but this is going to be the sauce for like on top with meat. This had less sauce in it, so it would cook out. This is what's going to get mixed in with the pasta to make it heartier. I didn't want this liquid so it's all soupy. This will get mixed into the big vat. This is what's going to go on top before it's sealed. And then some mozzarella. Sounds good. Now you know. The more you know. So, as you can see, this is so much easier when you got a commercial kitchen. We got Chef down there, he's doing his own stuff. We're gonna try and stay out of his way, but we're gonna use up all of his beautiful space. This is a lot of pasta, as you can see. It's already been cooling for about 40 minutes, and as you can see, it's still very warm. So what we're gonna do here, as you saw, there was 2 different pots. One was basically for the meat. So we're gonna add that in. Incorporate it, and the other one was just for the sauce to put on top. So we've already sent out the big trays, the big steam trays, to go out to the shelters that to feed the people, less fortunate people. With the current times, I'm not going to get into it too much, but with the way things are going right now, a lot of people are finding themselves in situations where a meal is hard to come by. Well, we try to we try to minimize that as much as possible, get out there as often as possible. So I'm not going to get too far into that. We've sent out that whole first round of pasta, so it was 8 big trays like this, cooked pasta, lots of meat in it, lots of cheese, lots of sauce, nice and hearty to go serve the community. This one is going to be for meal size for different families. You know, we put a call out for families in need. Maybe they could use a little bit of help, or, you know, a pay it forward. Maybe you know a family that did something well for somebody else and you want to return the favor almost anonymously. We're going to make a few dozen of these trays so people can give them to their friends. So again, let's get back to this. I'm going to incorporate all this goodness in. Yeah. As you can see, with the price of everything, to do this in small quantities, it'd be very expensive. But we get a lot of our friends involved. We all pitch in a little bit of money to make this happen. And then we buy bulk. And then we got distributors who help us buy very large quantities, which again brings the cost down. And it's not necessarily to save money, it makes your money go further. So if you got, you know, $500, instead of buying regular price things and only being able to serve 100 people, when you buy commercially and corporately, all of a sudden you can maybe feed 200 or 300 people with the same amount. So this is all mixed up. I'm gonna actually step aside. I'm gonna grab a little bowl to scoop it because I ain't using my hands. Give me a sec. This makes it very easy. You go to this, and then you do that. Oh, a little too much. You know, it takes a few minutes to get it back into the swing of things, but then it all makes sense. You know what? I'm gonna make it really easy on myself. I'm gonna bring this over here so you can see what's going on. Got this beautiful vat of bolognese. Like this, like that. Hey, look at that. Like I said, you want to make sure everybody's eating well. There's no point cheaping out on something like this, giving dry pasta that nobody's going to enjoy. You know, I've heard a lot of very ignorant comments like they should just accept whatever they're given. Don't treat people like that. If it's not something that you would want to eat, don't expect someone else to just take it as scraps. You treat people, you know, I'm not going to go too far into it. You know what I'm getting at. Look at that. Look at that. There you go. What did that take? 3 minutes? That's enough to feed a family of 6. That's how easy it is. Back for another round. Thank you, chef. Oh, look at that. And the right ingredients just light up your senses, you know? You get so much of the basil, the oregano, the garlic. Oh my God. It's actually a joy to be in the kitchen. Another reason I like working here in this kitchen is they keep it so clean. It's only clean for so long once I get in here and make a mess. But like this wasn't specially prepped clean to look great. This is how they keep things all the time. Look at that. Another family fed. Keep it going, keep it going. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at that. And more sauce. And more sauce. And more sauce. There we go. And the best part, There you go. Mm. There. And another one. So when you develop a system, it makes it so much easier. You know, like it is, yeah, it's a lot of work to do all the prep and get set up. But once you're at the point where everything's cooked and you got everything laid out nicely, look how fast you can feed people. Look at that. Now I'm making a mess. You didn't see this. Mm. Mm. All right. There we go. More cheese.
Oh, mamma mia, Chris.
Absolutely.
Questo è buonissimo. This is very good, very tasty.
Am I hired? I'm gonna come out of retirement and start cooking for you down at Sorrentino's.
Why not?
Absolutely. I don't work well with authority, so it wouldn't work. I don't see it working out, but I appreciate the offer. So what other fun stuff we got going? I know I got to take off soon on a little trip, but when we get back, we're gonna do another cooking show.
Oh yes, for
another
sure.
challenge,
Another challenge with the real audience, right?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
We're gonna invite some people down, and I'm gonna pay you guys off to choose my dish over his. I mean, I was gonna win anyways, but it looks better when we pay. You know. Yeah, exactly. But you know, I like to bribe people. I have to pay people to be my friends. All right. All right, so I don't want to drag this episode on for too long. I'm going to get these finished up. Going to sprinkle a little bit of parsley on top so it's nice for the delivery. And then we're going to get these picked up by our drivers and delivered to all the families. As you can see, we got a lot more to go, but hey. So yeah, that concludes this. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for tuning in, seeing what it is we do. Hope you have an awesome week or weekend or whatever you're doing. Hope this encourages you to cook, maybe do something for your community. But for now, I'm Chris. We're out.